we want to welcome Chris Swift, of course, with Swift Trading Company, to talk more about this current situation. And Chris, as always, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us when these issues kind of pop up.
Good morning, Janet. I'm glad to.
It's certainly already been a busy week. It's only actually been two business days. Give us kind of an idea. How does JBS fit into the major beef and pork packer industry?
Well, without a doubt, producing 25% of the cattle slaughter each week that the United States has, they are a major portion to it. And although this is a devastating issue and probably something going forward that we'll have to deal with now forever with these types of cyber attacks, but we look at the whole picture, and the whole picture being, as they've stated, we have lesser packing capacity. We still have large numbers of cattle on feed. We have large numbers of cattle still in our herd size. We've had very little liquidation in our herd. So when we see functions like that are ongoing all the time, and then certain events take place, such as the cyber attack, it exaggerates everything for a short period of time. But I think that we'll be able to get the packing plants back online again, get that product moving, and then I'm sure that they will take more safety measures, try to keep that from happening again in the future.
It does seem like this is coming back around a little bit faster than what we saw with the pipeline here a few weeks ago.
It is, and I don't know the extent of what the hacking is. I'm very illiterate on computer things, unfortunately, but from what I understand, that I think they should be able to get it back on. And although it is a huge issue there, the distribution is in a very small area. Most of those packing plants are located in a centralized area, so it's although that product does go out all throughout the United States, it's not like all of the United States is impacted by it.
So have there been any estimates maybe how much production might have been affected by this whole thing?
We saw yesterday USDA, they slaughtered about 22,000 head less than what they did the week before. Last week's slaughter was very woefully underperforming is what we needed. And then, of course, the week before that, they'd had a little bit more. But we have the Father's Day holiday coming up, and we have the 4th of July coming up. And I believe with this, it's going to send a signal to all packers to start trying their best to increase chain speed to whatever possibility they can.
Figure probably some weekend shifts and all that kind of coming
I
up.
would dare to say they will probably run wide open from this point to try to keep things from backing up on them.
How do you think this is going to affect the already backlog of market cattle as far as coming from the farm to the feedlot and moving forward?
It won't help. We've got a long, hot summer in front of us, and we have to think, again, a function of what's transpiring here. And so we noticed over the last couple of months, we've had greater heifer placement now, and we've had greater cow kills. So that's the start of a little bit of liquidation as we go into the summer, and it heats up a little bit. That might increase some, and unfortunately, we still are not going to have the packing capacity as what is needed. So unfortunately, it may be a very long summer to have to go through to get these cattle pushed in.
If I'm a cattle producer sitting on my herd and kind of planning for the future, what kind of position am I in right now?
I think you're in a position where you need to be marketing out in front and making sure that you have some downside protection on. Don't leave this to the wind and say everything will be okay. And there's a lot of people that look at this market and have the attitude that cattle prices have to go up because beef prices are high. And we've proven that for 5 months that is not true. We do not have to have higher cattle prices with higher beef prices. That can change on a dime at any time, but it won't until we get greater employment and can increase that chain speed for the packer.
Does this give packers more leverage again in the market?
I don't know. It doesn't hurt. That is for sure. It doesn't hurt. Whether or not they're actually using this leverage, I don't think so. I really believe that we're all humans and we're all in this together. And so to undercut someone under a bad time, just that doesn't seem to be the way that they operate.
Is there anything positive that you see could maybe come from this?
It definitely shines the light on the disparity between the price of box beef and the price of cattle. And I think that the more disparity that comes, you will get more attention to that, and there will be things to be done. I personally do not believe that you can legislate your way out of this situation. There is clearly a need for greater packing capacity, but yet we try to build a new packing capacity, and we have every government regulation out there that keeps us from doing that. That's why you don't see a co-op come up and say, well, let's build a packing plant. If there's not enough of them, then let's go out and build more. But you try to get that done anywhere, and it's literally impossible.
It's pretty tough.
It is.
Pretty tough road to hoe. Now, as far as the fresh beef cutouts, Any chance that we could see some historic levels met again?
They'll probably rise a little bit, but I don't think this is going to be nearly the push as what we saw in the COVID, when we first broke down in the COVID, where packing plants everywhere stopped, and we truly had a shortage of beef product. Here, we're only out 2, maybe 3 days at the most, and again, 75% of the product is still moving. So.
One more question I have
sure.
for you. Of course, we're talking about the beef market. The beef market not as integrated as what the hog market is, but do you think the hog market is kind of sort of circling the wagon, so to speak?
Well, it's possibly so. We know that all commodity, not all, most commodity prices are very elastic in pricing. Small percentages of changes in supplies make for huge percentage changes in the price up. So we're really dealing with apple and oranges. You're dealing with a live product on the cattle and a carcass product for the hog. And although we saw hog prices trade over cattle prices yesterday by more than $2 on the August, it is still apples and oranges there.
All right. Well, Chris, as always, thank you very much
Absolutely,
for your insight.
Janet. Thank you very much.
Chris Swift with Swift Trading Company joining us right here in studio. We appreciate his insight this morning.